Maine DEP has been involved with NADP since the fall of 1980 when we established our first NTN site in Bridgeton. And with the MDN network, our first site we started in the fall of 1996. NADP has value for Maine DEP in a couple different ways, and it depends on the different networks. So with the NTN sites and measuring the different precipitation chemistry parameters, we were really interested in the 80s about characterizing what kind of impacts acid rain was having on our terrestrial and water ecosystems. So we established that site to get an idea of how much pollution was being transported into the state, because Maine can't really be considered quite an industrial state for those kinds of emissions. And as we found with other air quality issues, it's really long-range transport that gives us most of our air quality issues. So air masses that move across the country, especially the Midwest and the Northeast, they move over these industrial or metropolitan areas, pick up a lot of pollutants, and then rain down or snow down on us. So that's the value that we got from understanding where it was coming from, but also being one of the most forested states in the country as a percentage of its land mass. It was important to understand where those impacts were occurring and to what degree. And we've used the data to understand what affects the national emission control strategies that have been in place through the Clean Air Act we're actually having. So it's one thing to regulate it, it's another thing to actually measure a real difference in the real world. And that data that NTN has provided us has achieved that. And on the MDN side, again, we were one of the earlier states to issue fish advisory for consumption purposes, and understanding again where that mercury was coming from, and to understand that the major inputs were coming from the atmosphere, was an important understanding in terms of what was able to be done to improve that situation. So the data has played a role from an ecosystem perspective as well as a human health perspective.